Hey loves, thank you for tuning into my channel. So I'm coming to you with my 6-week postpartum update. I just got back from my OBGYN. I had my 6-week postpartum checkup, and I got somewhat bad news. I mean, it's not the most horrible news, but basically in my 5th week update, I told you that my bleeding had stopped, and during the 4th week, I had got heavy bleeding, which was so unusual because my bleeding was pretty light, you know, from after the 1st week of pregnancy when it's the most heaviest. It was pretty light, week 2, week 3, and then all of a sudden in week 4 it was really heavy. Week 5, no bleeding at all, and now all of a sudden in week 6, lots of bleeding again. So my OBGYN basically said that she was a little concerned and wanted to do an ultrasound. She wants to check to make sure that there's no tissue left over from the pregnancy and delivery. And so I have to go back in a week or so, no, in about 2 weeks, for an ultrasound. So I'm just kind of nervous because I feel like if it wasn't anything major, why would you want me to go back in 2 weeks? Or wouldn't you say something like within 2 weeks if the bleeding doesn't stop, or something like that? But we scheduled the appointment, so I'm going to be going. So I'm a little nervous. I did ask if there was to be if something was to be found, what would be the procedure? You know, I don't want to have to undergo surgery or anything like that. And she said no, that there's medication that can be given to me. So she definitely did not seem as worried, but I find that doctors are often desensitized to the information that they have to give us, because I remember with my first pregnancy before JJ, the doctor who told me that I was gonna, you know, the baby wasn't gonna live, said it to me like with no compassion at all. So I know that they say things in a way that doesn't always come across as serious as they need to take it. Anyway, so I'm nervous about it, but I'm just gonna pray, make sure that everything's and pray to God to make sure that everything's okay. Girls, let me tell you, this week for Elle was insane. I don't know what is going on with her nighttime schedule, but all the stuff that I told you before about her waking up to eat and then going right back to sleep, and being consistent for like a 3-hour sleep window, wake up, eat, go back to sleep, all that stuff has just gone through the window. For whatever reason, she is up, like wide awake in the middle of the night now, and she doesn't just want to be up by herself. She wants to be up with someone. So she needs a partner. She needs a companion. So I have to be up with her. She goes in and out of wanting to pacify on my breast. Now, I strongly believe that Elle is pacifying. When I was talking with the lactation consultant in the hospital after having the baby, I told her that I felt like Elle was pacifying on my breast because she would suck on my breast for a very long time, and then it would get to the point where the sucks were really shallow, and the lactation consultant advised me that it was too soon for babies to really do that. I don't think that at this stage, with her being 6 weeks now, that she's too young to be doing that. I strongly believe she's pacifying. When a baby is breastfeeding and they're swallowing, the sucks start off quickly and then they get stronger, and you see their chin coming down with each swallow. When she starts to pacify, it's just like super light sucks. Very light. Like she doesn't want the milk to come out. She just wants to be on it. And then in the middle of the night, she wants to pacify. She wants to pacify on me, and she wants to lay down near me or have me hold her, and she just wants to pacify. She'll be wide awake looking at me with her light sucks. I've bottle fed her to make sure that she was full and satisfied, and she still wanted to pacify. So like I'm torn between what to do because I am not getting any sleep. I mean, I've been so stressed by the situation because I got so comfortable and so happy with her routine. Sleep for 3 hours, up for an hour to eat, then sleep for 2 hours. I was getting great sleep. Now it's like I put her down at 8 and I usually try to get into bed for 10. By 10 o'clock, she's awake. She will not sleep unless she's being held. If I put her to sleep, to put her down in her bed to sleep, she wakes up. I pick her up, she goes to sleep. I put her down, she wakes up. So we do that until about midnight, and I keep trying to, you know, put her back into the bed. And then around midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, she's up until like 3, 4 a.m. At this point, I haven't had any sleep. And then we have to wake up for about 7 o'clock for our son to get ready for school. I'm like not getting sleep. I'm so tired. So I've been thinking about bottle feeding more often. I feel like she's a month and a half now, so my plan was to only breastfeed for 3 months, okay? But the difference with my son was I had to introduce the bottle early because I was going back to work and I didn't want there to be any issues with bottle feeding. But with Elle, she loves to be comforted and soothed by me, that I'm really fearful of how she's going to behave when I have to travel for work and things like that. I have events coming up that are going to need my attention and my time, and I have to leave her with someone, whether it be grandma or an auntie or a relative, and I just don't know how we're going to deal. So Daddy just brought her upstairs, so she's here with us, and you probably can tell she's huge. She's gotten so big. I don't know exactly how much she weighs because we haven't had an appointment since her 4th week and she was 9 pounds, but I feel like she's like 12 pounds. I kid you not. When I'm holding her to nurse her, I feel it. But anyway, like I was saying, I'm nervous that when other people have to take care of her, she's going to give them a very hard time because she wants to be held all day. And now she's like really not sleeping in her bed because I have to keep bringing her in the bed to eat and then putting her back, you know, in her bed for a little bit, and then she wakes up. She won't be in a deep sleep, but she takes a good sleep in the morning from like maybe 9. You hungry? From like maybe 9 o'clock in the morning, she can sleep till about noon. So she takes a good sleep in the afternoon. Stop it. That's not nice. That's not nice. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm torn because I really wanted to nurse exclusively, or as exclusive as possible, for these 3 months, and then, you know, then introduce the bottle. And I've been pumping, but just because I need a little bit of supply to sustain me over when I go to the gym, or if we have to be outdoors for an extended amount of time. And then I wanted to start pumping to save for the future. But when I pump during the day, I feel like she doesn't get enough later on. I don't know if anyone has experienced this, but whenever I pump, I feel like the next time that she needs to eat, she's just not satiated. Like there's just not enough, milk, because I find that she just will like cluster feed, whereas on days when I don't pump at all, she will be satisfied. She'll eat and go to sleep or whatever. But when I pump, I find that she just eats nonstop. So I feel like my pumping schedule is just not in tune with her needs. So I don't know if it's going to be something I can realistically do simultaneously. You know, everybody's body is different, and this is an observation that I'm making. I hear stories about women who pump like, you know, 60 ounces a day, and I'm just like, well, my baby eats like 2 ounces a feeding. If I pump milk, I can pump 4 ounces between my left and right breast, and she drinks about 2 ounces per bottle, and if she sleeps for an extended amount of time, she can drink 4 ounces. So I'm making milk enough for her, but I don't know if I can make excess, and I don't want to have to be pumping every you know, hour in order to increase my milk supply, because I have the luxury of feeding her on demand. So I don't know. I'm thinking about pumping exclusively and not having her nurse as much so that I can build up her comfort with other people, and also for her to be comfortable when she's not with me. I don't know. I'm torn between the decision because I absolutely love breastfeeding. I did with my son, and I love breastfeeding with Elle, but her temperament and her attitude is just so different than my son that I'm needing to make some adjustments. And you know, I work from home, so I have that luxury, but I am working. So at the same time, I can't always be as available as she may need me to be stationary for so long. And that's like the biggest problem. So I don't know, if I don't work, how am I going to take care of my family? You know, I need to work. One thing that is really interesting that my husband pointed out to me was how in sync our bodies are. So